All right. Today, day 277, we have a subject to deal. This is a deal in Kissimmee, Florida. Let's go through this together. So, 13 in Conu Drive, Kissimmee, Florida, 34759. Entry is going to be $30,000 plus closing costs and transaction coordination fees, and then the total asking price is 325,970. 4 beds, 3 bath, 1909 square feet, 83 HOA. Here's your existing loan details. There is a 295,970 loan balance, PITI of 2194, 5.125%, loan maturity 4/30/2052. So this started in 22. I love how this is laid out. This is super easy, super understandable. So what do we do, right? First thing we want to do is we want to look at the property. Let's say we get general condition of the property. So people are living there, looks generally rent ready, not in terrible condition or anything. That's jumping out to me. Some tile flooring, laundry room. Is there carpet in one of the rooms? You can see it. No, that's just tile flooring. Okay. So maybe do some cleaning, but you might not even need to paint the place. And it looks well taken care of. So what I'm going to do is just assume I need to paint half the place, just very, very roughly speaking, so I can have some budget. So the next thing I want to do is I want to look at the fair market rent, the FMR. So by doing that, I need to look at the county first. So this is in Polk County. And I'm going to Google HUD FMR. When you Google HUD FMR and click on the first link up top, you scroll all the way down and click access to small area FMRs. Click on look up FY 2024 FMRs, go to your state, and then go to your county. And then you're going to get by zip code, by bedroom count, what's the maximum rent? 34759. 34759. All right, this is at the very bottom. So the 4-bedroom ceiling rent is $28.10. Let's break that one down. 2810. It's in Missouri, 4-bedroom. I'm gonna get the rents primarily focused for a 4-bedroom. 34759. 34759. I just like to write all these numbers down because my partners already know how to analyze deals, so this is going to be super, super helpful. All right, so next is I got a deal right here, and now I'm going to go get the market rents. To get my market rents, I'm going to go to affordablehousing.com, okay? For those of you that need to look at it full screen, go to youtube.com/@Kent_HG. Make sure you subscribe because then you get notifications on whenever I go live, all right? Affordablehousing.com, owner section, market rent estimator, plug in the address, plug in the bedroom count, and the most important number is going to be this number right here on the bottom right. It says that for 25 units within a 0.46 mile radius, the average rent is $18.41. That's right, at $18.41. That's a pretty small radius if you think about it, right? It's less than half a mile and there's 25 units for rent that's renting out for 4 bedrooms. And these are probably not apartments, right? Because you don't see that many 4-bedroom apartments. So these are all probably single family homes. So I feel pretty good about these comps. And I'm going to write down the rest of these numbers right here at 1961 for the zip, 2173 for the city, and 2218 for the county, okay? Now that I got these rents, all right, if you had underwritten this deal at 2810, which is the ceiling rent that we saw in HUD FMR, you will be grossly overestimating the rent you can get for Section 8. And that's how people lose money, okay? Now, why is that? If you go to the Housing Choice Voucher Guidebook, HCV, Housing Choice Voucher, this is formerly known as Section 8. They rebranded Housing Choice Voucher simply because they want to get away from the negative connotation of Section 8, okay? If this is the HCV, the Housing Choice Voucher Program Guidebook, in Section 2.2, there's a section called the rent reasonableness test. So it basically says that in conducting rent reasonableness, the PHA, or Public Housing Authority, which is usually the local housing authority that administers all these vouchers, must determine whether the rent to the owner is a reasonable, right? Is a reasonable rent in comparison to rent for other comparable unassisted units. So this means that you can't charge more for a market rental simply because you are renting out to a voucher holder, right? For obvious reasons. Now, obviously, things like the unit type or in size counts. So if it's a single family home, you got to compare to single family homes, not condos, etc. But you don't really see 4-bedroom apartments. So I feel pretty confident that this number is pretty valid for a 4-bedroom single family home. And so this is why you have to take the lower of the two when you compare your underwriting for rents, comparing your market rent to the FMR. So in this scenario, I'm going to underwrite at 1850, right? I'm going to assume I got to update this stuff, but let's go ahead and plug in these numbers now from the website that was listed. Okay, so asking price 325,970. Here, let me put this over here so you guys can see a little bit better. 325,970. I just know that you guys are, some of you are watching on Instagram. It's going to be a little bit harder to see, so I'm trying to squeeze as much room onto here so you guys can see it as possible. Okay, 325,970. All right. My rehab, I'm going to go to my rehab calculator, and this is 1909 square feet. So I'm going to start from the top. I usually set aside like $1,500 for the roof, just in case there's some roof repairs that need to take place, in case there's any leaks, and I can't tell from the photos. I usually set aside about $500 for just general landscaping, exterior cleaning on the outside. Even if you don't have any landscaping, maybe you just want to pressure wash your place to have better curb appeal before you get it rent ready. Now for painting, I'm going to assume I'm going to paint half this place. So I'm going to equals 1909, which is the total square feet. I'm going to divide that by 2. And at $3 a square foot, that's about $28.64. Okay. There's 3 bathrooms here. I typically like to replace all the toilets with high pressure flush toilets because I have high pressure flush toilets at our properties, and I've never gotten a call for a clogged toilet. And I am very confident that every clogged toilet call will probably cost you $150, $200. So I might as well get ahead of it and not waste any of my energy or time answering clogged toilet calls. I'm going to zero everything out. And then this gives me a total rehab of $74.56, assuming I have a 20% contingency. Okay. Now I got my number here for my rehab. I got my number here for my monthly income rents. The next thing we want to do is plug in the loan details. Okay. Now, obviously, the spreadsheet is available on my website, affordablehousing.io. You just go to the website, click Get Deal Analysis tool, and you'll be able to get a copy of the spreadsheet super fast. This way, I'm not the bottleneck anymore. So let's plug in the details. 295,970. This is a 5.125% interest rate. I'm gonna put start date at 4/30/22 because this is matures 52. So I'm gonna back 30 years away out of that. Okay. Now that I got my total PIT because it's close to me at 2194. I'm gonna go to my property tax section in B28. I'm gonna put in 2194 minus the principal portion of the sub-2 loan minus the interest portion of the sub-2 loan. So this way, I never have to fret. I never have to worry about, hey, how much money am I? What's my principal portion and what's my interest portion every single month? Because that changes every single month, right? If you understand how a 30-year amortization schedule works, every month there is a little bit more principal and a little bit less interest, even though the total payment is the same. But you have to understand what is the remaining amount for property taxes and also insurance. So that's your remaining amount, 582.48 right now, because you're still getting to the total amount. And the whole point of why you're doing this right now is to understand whether or not you should spend more time analyzing this deal. And for me, as to make sure it cash flows positively, because the last thing I want to do is have a property that takes money out of my pocket every single month just to hold it, right? Again, this is not investment advice. I'm not soliciting any investments on this call. I'm simply showing you the process that I go through every day to build in the reps so that I can become more confident that I know what I'm doing. All right. And now I'm going to add an extra $30 of insurance because I'm going to assume someone's living there as a primary resident. So I'll just put an extra $30 in there. And that's because investment properties, their premiums are generally higher than a primary residence. So I'm always going to add extra $30. And you're in a market like Florida. So insurance is going up like crazy every single year. So $30, $50 per month every single month after you buy this property is probably conservative. All right, I'm gonna set aside 10% of my rent every single month for maintenance because your roof is eventually gonna get replaced. Your HVAC is gonna eventually get replaced. And if you don't set aside money from your rent every single month for maintenance, you're going to think, hey, I'm making an extra $185 per month. And 10 years down the road, you might have an $18,000 roof replacement. And now you're going to realize, hey, did I really not make any money over the last 10 years? So don't be that person. Don't forget about maintenance because this money truly, truly does not belong to you. All right. Okay. Now for my HOA. How much is in my HOA? 83 bucks. Putting $83 right here. I got 10% set aside for property management. The thing about property management is you can, if you want to, you can self-manage. But if you don't underwrite with property management, then you would have essentially bought yourself a job. And I truly believe that a lot of folks get into real estate for the idea of passive income. And if you don't have property managers looking after your property, well, you will never be able to get out of it if it does not cash flow, because then it might bleed you down the road later. And I'm pretty sure none of us got into it to have a job forever. I think a lot of people get into real estate for pursuit of financial freedom, freedom of choice, time, spending time with your family and friends, whatever you want to do. So underwrite property management because then that'll give you a lot more exits later. Because if you ever sell to an investor, they'll probably underwrite with the property management. And if it doesn't work for you right now, chances are you're going to limit your exits down the road. And then we set aside 5% for vacancy in C36. And that allows us to calculate, hey, every once in a while, the tenant's going to move out, right? Someone eventually moves out no matter what, even if it's 30 years from now. So just set aside a little bit of money every single month for vacancy because you got to turn over the units and it will be empty and not generate any money for you. So where are we right now? So let's plug in our entry fee. So the entry fee here is $30,000. So I'm just going to put in $30,000. I have 2.5% for closing costs. That should cover my TC fees, my transaction costs, etc. And then I got my renovations. So all in all, if I rent it out as a 4-bedroom for $850 a month, I would be losing negative $919 or $920 if you want to round out, whatever. And that's a negative 24.2% return. Now, does this mean it's not a deal at all? It's just not a deal for me right now. But if you were to say, hey, I'm trying to buy a property to live in it, well, this might be a deal for you. It's just not a deal for me as an investor for Section 8. Now, there's tons more strategies for you to look at. Maybe it's a short-term rental, but you got to look at the HOA restrictions, etc. Just be careful, right? But it's just that at this point in time, the scenario doesn't work for us because of what the numbers kind of float out to, all right? So hopefully that was helpful for everyone. My goal is for you to do this, copy my homework, all right? Look at the same deal I looked at today. Use the same spreadsheet. If you go to affordablehousing.io, not .com.io, go to the Get Deal Analysis Tool section, which is going to be right here. Plug in your information, plug in your address, and you're going to get the copy of the spreadsheet. Now, I didn't make the spreadsheets from scratch. I got a few copies from other folks. I tweaked it, I modified it, I combined it so that I can underwrite deals as fast as possible. And that's why we're doing this, so that we can get better every single day together. And I remember when I started, I didn't know how to get started. And I wish I had a path. And I wish someone was there just underwriting deals every single day so I can copy along. Because in 365 days, if you just do this for 18 minutes a day, you're going to be better at analyzing deals than 95% of America. So remember, put it on your own YouTube channel. If you're really shy, just put it as unlisted. Just remember, it doesn't matter how many views you get. Honestly, probably no one's going to watch it, and that's okay. I barely go back and watch my old ones too, but it's us setting an example and telling ourselves, when the deal comes across the table and slaps us across the face, I can be like, hey, I think that's a deal. And the only way I'm going to be confident is if I go back right now and I scroll through all my past underwritings, like, wow, I've been analyzing deals for the past 277 days. I probably know what I'm doing. And that's going to give you the confidence to pull the trigger because of your own track record that you have put so much time and sweat and effort into it. So I hope this helps. I hope you all have an amazing 4th of July holiday. If you're not tuning in tomorrow, I'm just going to be consistent. I'm going to keep on going because I don't want any excuses for me to not keep doing it every single day as part of my daily habits. And I hope you all continue to do this. All right. Okay. Have an amazing day, everybody. I'll be back again tomorrow for day 278. Have a good one, everybody. I hope you guys spend some quality time with your family and friends today. Have a good one.